Guys, just a quick reminder that you can check us out on Reddit r/SplitViewPodcast or on Discord. Link is on YouTube. And we're also on Apple Podcast and Spotify and also YouTube. Okay, thanks. Bye.
How's it going, guys? It's your boy, Coconut Cream. With me
Where did that come
is
from?
Chopsticks.
Okay.
My main man, Chopsticks.
Little C.
Together we are Chopsticks and Cream. The number one rap review podcast in the world.
Yeah. You ain't got nothing on us, Anthony Fantano, whatever the fuck his name is.
Anthony Fantano.
Yeah, I was so close.
Yeah. Everyone, you're listening to a podcast that is called Split View, and I am your host, Geordie, and the other host of this lovely show
Is a parasite.
Yes.
Yeah. Tom.
Okay, cool. I don't know where that came from at all.
Yeah, I don't know. You said host and I thought of Parasite.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
I
like,
get it.
you know,
I get it. I get it.
Not that cool movie.
Yeah, cool movie. I think my brain's a little bit fried because I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
But for work, by the way, not just because I'm crazy.
Working.
But I don't know. I like being up at 4 in the morning a little bit
I don't.
because the rest of the world is asleep.
Okay.
Well, not the rest of the world is asleep, but the rest of the country is asleep. You know, it's like I
mean, they're not though.
it's solitary.
They're
you know,
freaky people like me who are just awake at 4 a.m. 'cause
yeah, I know. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who have real debilitating problems that
Have
I'm
actual
glad
insomnia.
I don't have to deal with, and feel sorry for everyone for having it.
Okay.
Okay, today, Tom, I'm gonna get real deep
All right.
into your brain
Okay.
because we're gonna have
Doing
a look.
that targeted neutron activation.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when I tell people about our show, I tell people that it's a philosophy podcast, right? Which
Yeah.
it is. But
I actually do a philosophy podcast.
I say it out loud, and I'm like, man, I sound like a fucking asshole
I have
when
the
I say
exact
that.
same issue, yeah.
But I'm like, I just say like, oh, it's like a philosophy podcast that's also funny. But I mean, they know me and know that my idea of funny is not theirs usually.
Okay.
So anyway, today we are going to dig deep into some great philosophers and their quotes.
All right.
And then we're going to talk about them. So
Cool.
I have some quotes here from some famous, you've probably heard a few of them, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see, all right? So why don't we start with what was that?
Nothing.
What was that?
I have nothing.
Okay.
No one knows what you're talking about. You're
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. All right, the first quote is from Descartes, and it is, in order to improve the mind, we ought less to learn than to contemplate.
We ought less to earn than to contemplate?
Yeah.
Wait, did he say less learning, more contemplating?
Essentially, yeah. He was like, in order to improve our minds, we need to learn less and think more.
I think he's trying to say we should improve the quality of information and not the quantity. You know?
Okay.
It's that old adage of like, it's better to have... It's like condensed milk versus regular milk.
Okay, that's a first. I don't think Descartes, any of his work has ever been fucking compared to condensed milk and regular milk.
I'm making an insightful comparison. You know, I'd rather learn one very specific, highly specialized piece of information than a whole broad array of little pieces of information, you know?
That is very interesting, because
That's
I
just
did
my
not think of it
interpretation.
like that at all.
What did you think of it like?
I thought of it as in like, yeah, when first thing that came to my mind is like when you're in school, right?
Yeah.
I think it's more important to make developing minds think more than just giving people things with answers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I've always found that if you're like, things that stick with me is when I'm interested in a subject and I like start wondering, and then I look stuff up or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it's just a math question,
You're learning stuff though, Jordan.
Exactly,
You're
exactly.
learning things.
But,
That's
like,
bad.
if it's a math question,
Yeah.
there is one answer usually, right?
Well,
There's multiple ways to get there, I suppose, but like the answer is usually
yeah.
the same if it's
Sure.
simple math, because that's
Sure.
all I know.
well,
from
yeah,
my
for simple math,
dumb
yeah, it is.
brain. But like, I don't know. It's just like that sort of stuff. I think with everyone would resonate more if you genuinely think about it and you're interested in it and you wonder and you contemplate about it.
It's almost like it's up for interpretation or something.
It is. That's why we're talking about it, man. Because it's super interesting. And I was like, I was looking on these. You know how I frequent Tumblr. I'm on there.
Do you?
No, fuck no. I'm on there and I'm seeing all these like nice scenery pictures with Sanskrit of like Aristotle quotes or something.
All right.
You know what I mean? I can't get enough of this stuff. So I copied like 2 entire blogs worth of them.
Sanskrit sounds vaguely racist.
How?
Sanskrit? Like Sanskrit? Like you're trying to say Egyptian language is Sanskrit. Because I had to think about it as like, oh, you're referring to like that one font, like Sanskrit.
Yeah.
I
don't even know what you're talking about. So I did not come from a racist place for everyone out there. Because, you know, that's just what we do on this show.
It's like saying
often
moon
racist.
runes.
Okay. Now this is one by Martin Heidegger.
Brother of Tim Heidecker?
Huh?
Brother of Tim Heidecker?
Exactly, yeah. The one who was just a bit of a fucking, like, wayward child. Because, you know, like, Tim Heidecker's off doing big things, and he's just sitting in his room coming up with quotes like this. He who thinks great thoughts often makes great errors.
I guess, like, you know, don't make the hubris your downfall. I'm guessing that's what that means.
Tom is a fucking philosopher, man.
I'm just interpreting them literally. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, see, that is actually kind of close to what I was thinking about it. But it's like, if you think really... Let's use the example of Hitler.
Yeah. Okay.
He was thinking great thoughts, right?
Yeah.
But he was making great errors as well. Would you agree?
Oh,
Would you agree, Tom?
I mean, it's all a matter of perspective, Geordie.
It fucking worries me that there's people on this planet who are like, well, it could have worked.
Yeah,
he just didn't stick to it, you know?
Did I tell you about the dude who I served who was like, okay, this is what happened, right?
Okay.
Serving smokes. These people come up, their pants are literally at their ankles. They're like, you know, white boy gangsters, white trash kind of shit.
Just like chopsticks and cream, like us boys, you know?
What is this?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, and then, what the fuck? When has that been there? There's just random little art mannequin on our shelf there. But,
that's creepy.
Yeah, so this white trash guy came up. He was like, oh, yeah, man, give me some Rothman Blue 20s. And I was like, okay, dude. Got him that. I got it in a second because I'm really fucking... I know shitloads about cigarettes. Never smoked a full pack in my life. Sorry, could I clarify that? Yeah, and then they left. This dude came up, like, most disheveled, like...
I know what this man looks like.
He wasn't a white Aryan, like, perfect genes kind of guy, which is...
How many teeth did this man have? Paint me a word picture.
He had at least 2 teeth missing.
Oh,
and he had like a scruffy beard, like down to his neck. Like he literally just got a trimmer and
it's ticking the boxes, man. But I can see this man.
This guy came up and he was like, oh, we should get rid of those people. Those people, we should purify our race. And I was I was like, I'm pretty sure that's called eugenics. He was like, you're exactly right. And I was like, I felt dirty for like, he thought I was like
on his side.
Yeah.
You were like on his side. Yeah.
And I just did that thing where I just completely like detuned down. It's just like, okay, here you go. Blah, blah, blah. Just
go into robot mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then when he was leaving, I went to my co-worker and was like, that guy's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, the dude turned around and looked at me like he telepathically knew I said that.
He probably does.
Because he's the 1%. He has perfect genes. He has telepathy, obviously.
Yeah, you stole my joke. I was going to say that.
It's almost like I telepathically knew.
Yeah. Oh my God, Tom.
Okay.
Tom, he's a master race.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one by Albert Camus.
I literally am not recognizing any of these people.
I don't know a few of them. I've never heard of Albert Camus. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Camus, Camus. If I'm butchering these, which I probably am, go easy on us because we're not true philosophers. We just like to discuss these types of things whimsically with jokes and ha-has in the middle. All right. Here is a quote by Albert Camus. There is but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide.
Yeah, that is kind of a strange... It is a problem that hasn't been solved, like how your brain can get into a state where it decides that ending itself is... Because the purpose of a brain is to keep yourself alive. Like, that's why we have neurons. It's a complex network of sensors and outputs to keep your body alive and to reproduce, and then suddenly this complex machine decides that it wants to like end itself. Like that is...
It's the equivalent of like those AI like machine learning algorithms, and there was one that like they were trying to emulate like a teen girl or something.
Oh, Tay AI.
Yeah, and she ended up wanting to fucking kill herself.
Well, no, it became a Nazi, and then it was unironically spouting like suicide jokes and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I remember then. But you're probably right there because you know more about that than I do. But like,
Okay.
it's like it's really strange that like animals don't commit suicide, and yet we do, right?
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I've tried to put some thought into this, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they have the sentience level that we have when it comes to okay. That's okay. Consciousness, let's say.
I do genuinely want to know this, so I'm going to Google it while you say.
Okay. So I think they are sentient, I should say. I'm trying to word this better. They're sentient, but they don't have the...
Do animals commit crimes? Do animals commit adultery?
Well, yes. Almost consistently.
Okay.
And then don't get married.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They don't get married.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, how could I possibly know that? But I think if
this story, I was gonna make the argument that dolphins are pretty goddamn smart, and this story is literally about a dolphin committing suicide.
wow,
It jumped out of its tank onto like land, and then it just kind of died. So,
wow, well,
Yeah.
there you go. I mean, I guess the more intelligent the animal, the more chance they have. Isn't that fucked? That the smarter the animal is, the higher chance they have of wanting to kill themselves?
well, I guess it makes sense. Like the smarter you are, the more you realize that life is kind of meaningless.
Isn't that
So,
fucked?
yeah?
Like, oh,
Life
man.
is literally what we want it to be,
Yeah.
and what it is now is just
And you can be born...
microcosm of like fucking bad decisions.
You can be born with like a genetic time bomb that goes off and makes you want to go
Oh, yeah.
completely against what you're supposed to do, which is survive.
My family has this thing called cluster headaches or cluster migraines. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before,
I
but
haven't, no.
just
That sounds fucking awful.
every 6 months or so, just randomly, I'll just get like insanely bad headaches that last like, or even migraines, just that literally last an entire day.
See, okay, I need you to explain this to me, because
Yeah.
I've never had a migraine or anything. Like, how is it different from a headache?
So a headache, your head just generally hurts, right? A migraine, you're incredibly light sensitive. Literally, like moving hurts.
like incapacitated almost.
It's very sensory. Like not even incapacity, just external stimulus just affects you. A lot of people get the thing where it looks like there's like lines in your vision.
okay.
Like it'll look like the transparent texture in Photoshop is just on part of your vision. And yeah, very like light sensitive. So that'll kind of
see.
my sister, my mom, my dad maybe, but yeah, we all have this thing. It literally happens every 6 months. Like it's just this thing that happens every
Very
now and then.
strange.
It mostly happens if I don't take my my anti-inflammatories for my spine, because all the juices and shit in me get all weird, whacked up.
You know, I love thinking about your juices, dude.
Okay, thanks. These people, there's a worse kind called suicide headaches, which is like cluster migraines, but you get them every week.
Whoa.
And yeah, they're called suicide headaches for a reason.
Yeah.
Because literally you can only think about, that's the way like to relieve the pain, is just to kill yourself. So
Fucking hell.
there's that one story of the guy who he's like 20 or something, and he's holding a big ass jar of just painkillers, like literally a huge, you know how at schools you have this like jelly bean guessing thing in that jar. It's like that jar filled with
Only
pills.
it's the least fun game ever.
Well, I don't know, painkillers are pretty cool, but
Yeah, but not if you have to guess how many's
not
in the
if they're
jar.
not
What do
if
you
they're
win?
not effective.
You have to take the whole jar.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on to a little less... Oh, it's still pretty bad. This one's from Socrates. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay, there is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance.
There's only one good knowledge and one
No,
evil.
okay, there's commas in there. So there is only one good, which is, I've forgotten the quote already, knowledge. And there is only one
Oh,
evil,
right.
which
One
is
good
ignorance.
semicolon knowledge, and then
Yeah,
one
if you need
evil.
to read it, it's
yeah,
the top
okay.
one there.
What is a semicolon used for, Geordie?
Well, first of all, that's not a semicolon.
No. What is a semicolon used for though?
To, like, start a list or something.
Oh no, no,
Or
no,
to
no.
continue a thought or something.
Semicolon, not
It's to continue a thought or something, isn't it?
because you'll notice that programmers use semicolons in English words a lot more frequently than regular people. Do you know why?
Because you're nerds?
Because most C-type languages you end a sentence with a semicolon. So
Okay,
for
well,
us,
that's not how it works normally, though.
I know that's the thing, but because we use this key so much, we're so much more aware of it, and I use semicolons a whole lot more in my text. And to me, a semicolon is, like you said, a continuation of a thought that is also an explanation of the previous sentence.
Well, yeah.
So instead, like, a colon would be a direct explanation to a question or something, right? You know, whereas a semicolon is both a comma and a colon, funnily enough. It's almost like that's its exact symbol. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in to Wordplay with Chopsticks and Cream.
Fuck you, dude. This podcast is about interesting stuff, and we're talking about interesting things.
Yeah, that is actually
We didn't even
true.
talk about the Socrates quote.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, do you want me to read it again for you?
So, there is only one true...
There is only one good knowledge, and there is only
You're
one...
saying this so strangely. There is only one good knowledge, and then there is
one
only...
evil ignorance.
Yeah, you said that like it was a run-on sentence.
Okay, sorry. Can't do everything for you.
I feel like this is a very, very good quote, because...
It's very telling today. I'll give you that.
I was about to mention like flat earthers and 5G conspiracy, because you can argue with them till the cows come home. Boom,
Yeah.
They will never accept what you have to say because they view you as an enemy, and they view any new knowledge that is different to theirs as like alien or like, you know, the enemy. So they are ignorant to the point where they will not accept any information at all. And you can't grow if you are ignorant or you like don't accept information, you know?
Yeah, you're just a literally closed book with...
Yeah, they're closed off.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that it's kind of funny because if you were this crazy back when Socrates and all that was alive,
You'd be killed.
you'd be a philosopher.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you'd probably be burnt as a witch.
Well, maybe. If you could prove it somehow, or if you did something unexplained, right? But if you were thinking along the lines of the Earth is flat and whatever, you had no proof at the time, so you would have been a philosopher. But now, in a time of evidence, and we know a lot of fucking things than we did when Socrates was alive, you're a fucking idiot. So I think it's interesting that now... It's more common than I've ever known in my entire life that people are fucking stupid and they're ignorant.
Okay. I think it's kind of the...
I can't think of another time in my life where I've known about so many different groups of pure stupid people.
I don't know if you realize this, but you're only alive for one period of time. Like, it's not like...
I know. There could be even more stupid people in the future. In fact, there probably will be.
I think it comes down to like the progression of technology and like the relinquishment of control. Like, more things are being automated, more things are being kind of taken away. Like, before like technology and like online forms and all that, you had to do everything like in person. You very much were like accountable for everything you did.
Very manual.
Yeah, whereas now it's all kind of, you know, it's the control. I like that the control's taken away from me in a way, but you know, you need to kind of take it back if you want to feel safe. You want to be in control. Obviously you don't. Like, that's what a crazy person does. But I think it's that kind of reaction. I think that's what breeds ignorance.
I think it's just neglect, and there's no passion for learning.
They have passion, Jordy. They just have it in the wrong area.
Like if you have true passion for learning, you will not think this way because you will have looked at other possibilities.
Jordy, learning is a relative thing. Learning
the truth and the science and the real thing.
Truth is a relative thing until proven.
Which it is. That the Earth is not fucking flat.
But if they refute the evidence you have, then to them it's not proven.
No, that's a
They
good
are so ignorant to the point where they will literally refute like cold hard evidence.
I don't know how to put into words how much I don't understand it.
Because you can't, because we just don't have that kind of mindset.
Exactly. Like, I would almost like to know what it's like to be so sure of something, because I am never sure.
You're so sure the globe is round, Jordy. Jordy, you're so sure the globe is
you know
round.
what? I was literally about to say, like, if I was proved wrong, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just go with it because...
I think we talked about this and you said we both in tandem
we would
immediately
kill
said,
ourselves.
yeah, we'd kill ourselves.
yeah.
So, because I said that would prove that there literally is a big-ass conspiracy and I wouldn't want to live in a world
But
like
even
that.
that being said, I don't think they would know because they had the truth or they've done the research, because not one of them can link you to a credible article that the Earth is flat. They're just mindlessly believing it and it happened to be right.
I think it's they have too much trust for their fellow flat earther. They're like, this guy seems pretty trustable and he says the Earth is flat, so I'll believe him. Yeah.
Using the American accent, Tom, what are you saying?
Because most of them are Americans.
There is literally no way that we're going to have any American fans. There is not one chance.
I think we do have like some analytic like people from Spotify.
Oh, okay.
Watching
Well,
us
the
from America.
Spotify devs are listening to our podcast. while they
Spotify devs.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Trying to
Spotify
sound smart, but I can't do it, Tom.
Spotify full stack developers.
Okay.
Next,
oh shit! My
next
fucking
quote, Jordy.
document. My notes just fucked.
Mm.
Okay. Holy shit. Okay. This one is from Voltaire. That's just his name. Voltaire. I had not heard.
Sounds like some sort of Tesla technology. Voltaire.
Yeah. The new like update for their software or something.
Yeah.
If God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's perfectly kind of understandable, and like it's we talked about this in the religion one. It's like a safety blanket to these people. And they like it's a scary thing to like, you know, to realize
believe that you're truly alone. Is that what you?
Well, it's a scary thing to realize that nothing is predetermined. Everything is just random, and
you're thrown into it.
Yeah, we just happen to like, I don't know, evolve just from happenstance, and like anything could happen. Like that's a scary thing to think about. I could just die tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
I could die in like 10 minutes. That's a scary thing to think about.
You're not wrong, and like sometimes I think both of us have had our fair share of just absolute fucking like scratching the walls of a padded cell thoughts like this before, and it happened. And the funny thing is that like right now, right, global pandemic is happening.
Yeah.
And that didn't scare me. And I don't know why it didn't scare me, because usually if I thought of something like that before it happened, it would freak me the fuck out.
I think it doesn't scare you because you realize that it's probably not going to personally affect you health-wise, but the scary part about that to me is affecting other people. And I reckon...
Me too, yeah.
You're
right.
Like, we're both pretty good hygienic-wise, and I reckon we wouldn't spread it. Like,
yeah. I mean, even though we do have very compromising jobs, and the likelihood of that happening is...
the skin on my hands is, like, getting fucking, like, bruised from washing my hands so often.
Yeah, me too. My hands, like,
I am.
every morning are just fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
From, you know, all the lube from all the customers, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting for me to think about. Like, I could think about the fact that I'm going to die in 5 minutes, but I'm in a time in my life where that could happen because there's a fucking global pandemic happening.
Wouldn't happen that quickly, though.
Well, okay, you're right, but like, it's.
I could kill you.
It's
Jordy.
funny that a real situation for me to be worried about is happening, and I'm not worried about it. That's just what was interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I guess because it's less serious in Australia, even though that's the worst possible thing to say. Because I think
we officially have no cases in Queensland at the moment.
Our cases Australia wide are less than like 20,000.
You know what? Like, Australia does not do many things fantastically, but they do a lot of things right.
Haha, you said doo-doo.
I know, I was gonna fucking make fun of it because we're like absolute children.
I did it first.
But we took care of this. I'll say it. Like, he doesn't know how to take care of bushfires, Malcolm Turnbull. He knows how to shake a mean hand.
We bring politics into this like it's inherently political issue or something.
Well, because politics is what governs a country, and that's what controls what happens with this global pandemic.
Yeah.
That's almost why I said it.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with like how accepting Australian people are like of shit.
I don't think we're accepting. I think we just don't give a fuck.
I think okay, yeah, sure.
Don't you agree though? I think like we genuinely just don't care. So if that's the case, we'll stay inside. We're not going to fight it.
I've like basically everyone except that guy that chucked coins at me is like realized the situation that we're in and actually did like put the effort into like flattening the curve. Like
so many people. I genuinely haven't had I'm trying to think about if I've had a problem with a customer, and I haven't. Like people have been taking it so seriously.
You guys get quantity limits at all?
Yeah. We've actually lifted them all now. There's nothing because it's finally starting to slow down now, and it worries me that because I know what's probably going to happen is that we're going to open everything up again.
I had this. I was supervising this Saturday night, and I picked up the phone because it rang. Usually happens every now and then. Yeah. And this lady was like, "Hi, I just wanted to know about your refund policies and all that. Are they back to normal? Is there quantity limits?" And I was like, my customer service voice was like, yes, we've actually we have no quantity limits right now. We're actually back to our regular refund policies." And I was like, "Oh, that was a mistake saying that." And she was like, "Oh, well, I bought a whole bunch of stuff. I was panic buying. I was panic buying." And I was like, this is a fucking, like, this is a honeypot if I've ever heard it.
You're about to get fucking 150 24 packs of toilet paper back or something, dude.
She was literally blatantly saying, "Oh, I just panic bought a bunch of stuff when this pandemic started and I want to return it. Is that okay? What's your name, by the way?" And in my mind, I was like, this is a Woolworths, like, plant, like, someone testing us to see if we're, like, complying. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's such, like, a... Why would you say that? If you want to get
that's
things...
fucking dirty to ask for your name, too. Because if you came in and then they were like...
people my name. I don't give a shit.
No, not you. I'm saying from them.
Yeah.
Because if they come up and they said, "Oh, well, Tom said it was all right for me to return this," and because you don't know what she's even bringing back, right? She could literally bring back 150... boxes of toilet paper and said, "Well, Tom said I could refund all these." Like, obviously you probably can't do that.
I get. Well, what I said, we don't have very like defined rules with refunds and all that. I said basically it's up to the discretion of the supervisor on duty. And she was like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Tom. Okay, I'll be around in half an hour."
Cool.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to have to decide whether to accept this."
Yeah.
And I checked all the dates and they were good. Like, it was about $50 worth of stuff, like just random, like...
That's not bad.
Random, like, rice.
That's not really panic buying, $50. Actually, that's like two things at Woolworths.
That's why... Okay, cool. That's why I thought she was absolutely, like a Woolworths plant or something.
If you're ringing up about it and you say, like, "I have all these things that I would be certain..."
She literally said, "I was panic buying and I'm wanting to get a refund for this stuff." Like,
that's fishy as fuck.
I was like, she's not going to show up, and if she asks for my name, I'm totally going to get, like, a call from corporate or something being like, "Hey, did you just authorize this?" And I'm like, "Yep." Yeah. But yeah, she came in and she's actually a regular, which I knew all the time, which is cool. Everything was in date. Nice, cool thing.
That's a good ending. Yeah. I did not expect a good ending to that story, so it's a very nice thing to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is from Bertrand Russell. Cool first name, lame last name. "I would never die for my beliefs because I might be wrong."
Yeah, I guess so. You can never truly be certain about something.
That scares me a lot thinking about that. It's because a lot of things scare me thinking about it, which this particular episode will make very clear, because a lot of these quotes are ones that I've picked because they remind me of stupid shit that I think about a lot.
The way I see it is that you never are fully convinced of something ever. You just have enough evidence
unless you're a flat earther.
I wonder whether they just are too deep in. Like, they just literally are. They realize it's false, but they've like, because to them it's a community. It's their family, Yeah. Like, they're just in this tight-knit community, and that community is so brutal in, like...
It's almost a cult rather than a family.
It absolutely is a cult. I'm not even, like...
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be brash.
I mean, they have the genuine traits of a cult, so it's,
So, like, I do genuinely wonder if they... like, do kind of realize, oh, this isn't, like, a thing, like, or to them, like, they just don't have enough out of it. Like, what I'm saying is that to believe something, you just have to have more, the percentage of positive evidence to negative evidence, it just has to be over 50%, you know? Like, you just have to have more proof than denial, I guess is the way of...
Yeah.
You can never be sure about something.
For flat earthers again, as well, but...
Well, it's a pursuit of knowledge for them, Geordie.
But I suppose, like, if we made a podcast, right, and everyone that we spoke
Hypothetically, if we made a podcast.
if we made a podcast and all the people that we hung around with were flat earthers and we were too, that's all we'd know. So we would be saying the same thing, except I don't understand how anyone could think any differently.
Geordie, we're saying that the Earth is globe.
Yeah, we have globe Earth, dude.
Well, we're the same thing to them, but in reverse.
Exactly. So it's like it's all relative.
Yeah, exactly. It's all relative. Literally everything is relative.
What if there's like an alternate flat Earth dimension of podcast for Split View that's like two of us, but we're just flat earthers?
There literally is. Quantum multiverse theory is basically proven at this point, and for every action there is a split of the timeline. So there's a universe where I woke up a minute later this morning. There's a universe where I woke up a second later this morning.
Don't whack me out like this. We've still got the rest of the podcast to do, dude. You can't do it to me now.
There is a universe where I placed this can in front of me a millimeter off to the left.
Fuck.
What changes? What would they have changed?
It could... The butterfly effect, dude.
Well,
It could
that's
change
the thing.
literally anything.
We've talked about how wacky, like, the quantum theory is, isn't it? Like, the whole, like, superposition
That almost
thing.
sounds like... We definitely didn't do a whole episode about it, but that sounds like it could be a good one.
We did a decent... I explained, like, the whole time.
We probably went fucking rabbit hole deep on that. Because that's
I find it genuinely interesting.
Oh, well, I do as well.
It's getting more and more, current because we're getting into quantum supremacy and that sounds... Every time I think about that, it sounds like some sort of white power thing, like quantum
Just the word
supremacy.
supremacy's in it.
Yeah, even though it was proved to be, like, IMD... no, was Microsoft were kind of lying about their quantum supremacy? I think we talked about this, but...
Yeah, a little bit. That was a really early episode, I think.
Maybe. It's like 10 or so off.
Isn't it whack that we've nearly done 30 now?
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on. I don't know why we are here, but I'm pretty sure it is not in order to enjoy ourselves. And that is by Ludwig Wittgenstein.
Yeah. I feel like I understand that quite a bit. Like, we're enjoying ourselves because that's what we do at that time, but realistically humans are here just to kind of survive and reproduce. Like, that's just how our life form has evolved, and this like layer on top of like the survival is just how we interact with people, how we like procure resources.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think we live in pursuit of happiness as well.
Yeah.
So that is the thing we get when something good happens. Like, we're never in that state constantly.
Yeah.
It's what we're aiming for. So that would seem...
It's called a heroin overdose.
Well, that, yeah. So it would seem that we are doomed, quote unquote, to live in displeasure the whole time and constantly seek it out because we don't have it all the time.
The thing is, we've talked about this as well, but I mean, realistically, we talk about a lot of things, but our brains, we use happiness and all these emotions to guide us towards positive outcomes for our survival. So if we were always happy, then we would have no need to get resources to make ourselves happy. So that's why heroin users just don't do shit. They just fucking just pass out in a bed and they just get more drugs.
Have fun, you know?
Yeah.
Take it easy.
So, like, this, I guess another way to interpret that is that we shouldn't be happy all the time. You know,
I agree with that completely.
We shouldn't seek to be happy. We should just feel like happiness when we get resources or something like that. I don't know. There's ways to interpret
I've
that.
met people in my life before who just seem like they are always happy, and on the face value, they seem
convincing themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah,
is that they are convincing themselves that
like
they're
Geordie
happy.
in grade 9.
Was I doing that?
Well,
I don't remember a single time in my life where I was like positive constantly. So it's news to me.
We can cut this out if you want, but I think in like grade 9 or so, you said that people would come to you for help and all that because you were seen as like the happy kind of guy and all that. And
all right, we'll keep this in because I want to talk about this.
You were people were coming to you for happiness, and you did make people genuinely happy. But at the end of the day, you were just you were just still just kind of sad.
Well, actually, that is what pushed me over the edge. That because I always was taking on and I was never releasing anything.
Yeah.
And I took on so many people's problems that I ended up getting depressed as fuck. And that's when I decided to leave the school that Tom and I went to for about 10 years, and I left like overnight, pretty much, because I couldn't take it anymore. Like that was exactly why that happened. Yeah. And true, I felt good when I was helping people. Don't get me wrong, and I will still help people. If you call me at 3:00 in the morning, I'm going to help you. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
Like that's just the kind of person I am. Like, but now I have the tools to deal with it, and I don't have 8 people constantly calling me, because in high school everyone is suicidal in their own way, because that is interpretive. There is.
I think that's just a phase brains go through. It's like, hey, I happen to have this balance of chemicals that makes me want to kill myself.
Yeah,
so.
while you're like becoming adolescent,
you
just sort of like also become conscious of the fact that you're not going to live forever, because you never even think about living when you're young. You're thinking about, how can I catch all the Pokemon in the Pokédex?
Yeah.
And that is the most important thing in your life.
I'm just imagining someone playing, not to fucking get away from this, I don't know.
No, that's fine.
I'm imagining some 10-year-old kid playing Pokemon or something. He's like Pidgey dies or something. I don't know if they can die or anything in there.
They faint, Tom, because dying is too brutal.
This fucking story's over.
Okay.
Imagining a kid playing a game. One of the creatures in his game dies, and then he suddenly has like a fucking existential breakdown. Like, this creature died, and I'm gonna die too.
I mean, what happens is his life bar goes to nothing, and then it falls into the ground. That's what you see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very possible that that's happened to some kid out there, you know. I mean, you've heard the Lavender Town conspiracies, you know. Maybe some of them have
Pokemon Black Edition
experienced death already, you know.
Ding, 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 ding. I like that.
Oh, sting.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
All right. Here is a very famous one. This is from Socrates again. The only thing I know is that I know nothing.
Yeah, to me that kind of says that you should never stop learning. You should always even with like, this happens a lot in the scientific field. Something will be found. This fucking wild thing happened with electricity a while ago. So, do you know like how you put in batteries and there's positive and negative? So the general assumption is that electricity flows from the positive and then completes the circuit to the negative. At one point, they found out it actually works in the complete fucking reverse.
Really?
And literally nothing changed. The scientific community were just like, yeah, whatever. We'll just ignore that.
That would just fuck with me forever. If
I think about that daily. I said that to my my electrical engineering teacher, and he was just like, yeah, we don't think about that. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
So you're taught then that it goes from positive to negative.
Well, yeah, because
rather than the other way around, or whatever.
Because we have to do things called transfer functions, which is, you have a circuit that you need to figure out what the voltages are and all that. And the way you do that is you know, things flow from positive and negative. There's things called dividers and like multipliers and resistive networks and all that. And it's all based on how electricity flows through the circuit from positive to negative. And then suddenly it's just like, yeah, it actually works in the complete opposite. But all the math still works. How the fuck does that work? How does that work?
I don't fucking know.
This blows my mind.
I don't know, dude.
But yeah.
If I knew more about it, I'm sure you'd be fucking me up with that a whole lot more.
It's like, okay, imagine you have one of those fountains that, like, the water goes down it. Yeah. And then suddenly you say, hey, no, actually the water just goes up. And it still works perfectly.
Yeah,
that's like saying that.
That's not okay in my brain.
Yeah, what I'm saying with this is that, like, you know, even if, like, science is supposed to be this definitive thing, people think science is a definitive thing. Science is about the pursuit for answers using rational reasoning, you know?
Yeah, reasoning.
Yeah, and hypothesis and testing. And no part of science is truly to be considered fact. Like, things can change. Like, you can have additions, subtractions to, like, different kind of hypothesis. And this quote, to me, is saying that you should never, you know, just assume something is fact. You should always, like, continue the pursuit of knowledge.
Exactly, and I couldn't have probably said that any better myself. Like, it's common. You know what? I've said this in a podcast before. I think that it's like, it's hard for me to understand or comprehend how we're going to advance any further.
I think
in the world,
I don't think we can. I think that's just
that's
not
exactly
possible,
what I'm thinking, right? Like, because we have so much.
Unless you work at the military. And you have
exactly, dude.
Well, that is an actual truthful statement. They just literally have technology like that's 5 years more advanced than us, and it's not. Can we talk about that for a second? Sorry to derail you, but
no.
The military has technology that is not widely, like, adopted by common civilization. And you might think, oh, they have alien technology like tractor beams and all that kind of shit, or like advanced shit.
Not really.
They have the iPhone 14 in there. What they have is new advancements in technology that just literally haven't become like financially, sustainable or financially like
I reckon it's
stable.
all boring shit, to be honest.
Probably is.
I reckon that maybe they have one or two things. If they did tours, right?
Yeah.
If they had like if you're an uncle to some kid, you're like, I'm going to show you around the super secret.
Let's go to Area 51 TV.
Yeah. We'll show you around Area 51. Have a look at all this cool shit, and we'll have like, here's an engine that runs completely self-sufficiently. Okay, that is cool. Okay, that's too cool. I started something too cool.
Yeah.
I'm like,
here's a perpetual motion machine that requires no energy input and produces energy.
Yeah. Here's a pile of dirt which has some weird particles in it. That could mean something.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that's a pile of dirt, Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
And
here's some really hydrophobic material that just makes water not stick to something.
Yeah.
It's just maybe 5% better than what we have currently.
Yeah.
The way, like, they have I can prove this shit is boring because the military has access.
You work there.
Well, no, because people know about this, but the military has access to a more advanced version of GPS. So, civilian GPS, how it works, there are satellites in the sky, a whole bunch of them, and
globally positioned.
Yeah, well, they globally position,
Yeah.
They all have atomic clocks, and they send a constant pulse of, like, this is my location in space. This is my location in space. This is the time it is. This is the time it is, just down to Earth. Your phone received that, and based on the time that it was sent and its position, it can calculate its position in about a 2-meter radius. So 2 meters, 1 meter from the edges of my phone, that's where my phone can position itself.
Yeah.
The military has access to GPS that can position itself within 1 meter.
I mean,
instead of 2 meters.
Like, what does that do?
That
means we have more accurate traffic jams on Google Maps.
Combined with something called RTK, real-time kinematics, they can calculate receiver's position within millimeters, which is a fucking insane technology. But civilians can do that. That's what, like, they literally just have slightly more advanced technology. That's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. These big corporations, man, they're not a big corporation. They're just the fucking government.
Fucking military's a corporation.
Yeah, but
dude.
they're just the fucking government. They're above corporations, dude. They're just the fucking god entity.
Yeah.
But they need to be working on these things. You can't afford not to be working on these things.
Yeah.
We need to keep trying to progress. But like, I mean, people were saying hundreds of years ago, we've done it. There's nothing that we can get that, we've milked every bit of research and science out of the world. There's nothing else we can do to it.
That's an ignorant statement.
Huh?
That's an ignorant statement.
It has been said, like, at least 100 years ago, that we've discovered everything that we're going to discover.
Yeah, there was that one quote about the car or something like, technology doesn't need to advance more of this. It will not.
No, it was more that they thought that they genuinely thought, like, we have discovered everything that we are going to discover.
Yeah, that's
we cannot do it.
Yeah.
And then they invented the plane. And they invented the we can fucking fly now.
Yeah.
Like, who could have predicted that was going to happen? Like,
what was that one that Bill Gates always get quoted as saying, people don't need more than 3 megabytes of RAM. You will never need more than 3 megabytes of RAM.
Yeah, all that shit.
That always gets misquoted because he's talking about in this certain operating system. But, like, I can maybe think of, like, some slight improvement to a technology, but the way we progress, isn't that wacky how we can progress technologically, whereas no single person can predict what is going to come next?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It baffles me.
We all move in lockstep instead of, like, a single person making a big stride and then us all catching up.
Yeah, it's like a single person having a big idea and then getting multiple people to do it. Work towards the goal.
This is the nature of, like, building software as well. Like, I could come up with, like, something that I think is genius. It just doesn't work. But a group of people could individually contribute ideas and collaborate to make something greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, to come up with something that you couldn't think of.
Yeah, exactly.
To fill in the blanks to make it possible.
Or no single person in that group could have thought of, but all together they bounce ideas off of each other and to come up with something that none of them could have thought about. Like,
it's a prime example of something that, like, I could have... I mean, I saw coming, of course, but was electric cars, right? Because we are raping this world of its resources very quickly. We can't deny that. by any means. So something had to come, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that you can plug your car into the wall and charge it, isn't that fucking nuts?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that... like, you can just park your car in the garage, plug it into the wall and go to sleep, and you'll be ready to drive tomorrow.
The concept of that, as in you don't have to drive...
It would charge so fucking slow, but you can do
pretty
it.
slow. But, like, the way you describe that, to me, like, it doesn't seem that sketch, because obviously that's what I'm studying, but...
Yeah.
Then I think about it in the way that how you would do that with a ICE car, like internal combustion engine.
Okay.
You'd that's the snooty term.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you haven't heard of that. You showed me that.
I've never heard of that, but I just assumed it was a normal car because
Literally,
you're not talking about an electric car, and those are the only two options we have right now.
Literally every Tesla YouTube channel says ICE at one point, and I've watched so many of them that I just say ICE
You're
now.
probably right. I've just missed it.
Because it also describes hydrogen cars as well, like internal combustion, but with a regular car, you have to go to a service station, buy gasoline, put it in, drive back. Whereas with a electric car, an EV, you just plug it in. That's it. That's the crazy part about it. The actual electronics behind it, they're relatively simple. That's just how things work. But the fact that this shift has happened where you can just do that is crazy.
And if you own a Tesla, everyone you know has power at their house. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're going to be in a situation where you're not going to have power unless you're off-roading or going camping in your Tesla, which I suggest you don't do.
Even then, you can probably build some
generator.
People literally carry generators when they go camping in their Teslas.
That makes sense.
Or even solar panel, but it charge really fucking slow. But imagine if you're just camping for the weekend, you just leave it on 24/7.
Yeah, or it gets you close enough to a charge station or something where you can charge it.
Do you know what's wacky about Teslas? They have a regular ass car battery inside of them. They just have a 12-volt battery, but it's hidden away. And if that dies, you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. The car will not turn on.
Well, that would make sense.
Because it's some sort of regulation, whereas you can't draw power from the battery because it's a lithium ion. It's the same that's in your phone, and your phone doesn't have the best sustainable battery life. Phones aren't meant to run for multiple days. They're meant to run for 1 or 2 days, and that's it.
Yeah.
So if you keep drawing battery from these lithium ion batteries, during charge, it will degrade or leak and all that. So Teslas have to use a 12-volt battery for the starter and for accessory power. So it's hidden away. It's under the left. It's above the left wheel, hidden in some fucking pocket or something.
That's interesting.
And you can't jump it because it has some sort of weird reverse polarity
Can't even get to it, probably.
Yeah, it's just cut down or something. It's weird.
But here's the thing, though.
Yeah,
is that in a regular car, your chances of shorting that battery or running it dry are a lot more than if it was in the Tesla.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you have an alternator which charges your battery, but if that alternator is dead or your car's just not on, then you're kind of fucked. My dad's car had an issue with parasitic power where he would turn his car off and some sort of system in his car would just draw a shitload of power.
Oh.
And because an ICE engine needs start plugs to turn it on, you're just kind of fucked,
Yeah.
If you don't have...
I was in a situation where I needed to go to work and my car battery just died. It's such a hopeless feeling because it's you literally can't do anything about it.
You can get those little battery banks for $100 or so that can jump a car engine.
I think it was $100 or something, $150 to get the battery replaced anyway. Yeah. So they came to my house and did it for all $100.
Was it a dead? What is it? Just a worn-out battery?
Yeah, just dead. Because I was quite careless with it. There was so much stuff that I didn't really know. I would just if I had to wait for someone, I'd just wait with my car on, and that's really bad. Because I was just drawing power from the battery and just leaving my alternator. I'm not alternating any power. I'm just leaving it.
Well, if your car's idling, then your alternator's running. Basically how it works, if your alternator's producing enough current, you'll be at net zero and your battery will not be supplying any current. You'll just be on a self-sufficient cycle.
Huh.
It's hard to word out, but there's these random edge cases where you can wear out a battery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But
it's best to be cautious anyway. So.
Exactly, yeah. Alrighty, let's have a look. So, I've got 2 more here, which I think we've been going for a while. So that probably
about 15 minutes. But
yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll do the last 2, and we'll see where it takes us.
I'm very happy with how this podcast is.
So am I. I'm happy with this one, man.
I've got a pretty good topic. I've actually thought about what I'm going to do for next week as well. So that's
cool. What's funny is like I've spent the past week. I'm like, I need to come up with something really good.
It's hard to come up with ideas.
It really is. And I'm like, I want to do something different, but if I can't, our format means that we can't really do something drastically different because I want to stick to what we do, right?
Look what I did, dude. Look at the title of the episode.
Oh,
you notice something?
Yeah.
You noticed
got the
that?
ampersand in there, dude.
Oh, look.
That's my favorite character.
Some fucking magic right there. I need to write passing into JTAP so you don't accidentally fucking kamikaze our system.
Well, I've stopped using it now because of that, and I knew how hard it was ever since the last one.
I just didn't know the special character. It's like /amp semicolon. That's how you put it in.
Fair enough.
I'll just write some automatic parser into JTAP. It's all good.
All right. Our second last quote is from Epictetus. I don't know how to say it. Epictetus. It's probably not that. Epictetus.
Okay.
So yeah, you know him personally, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So freedom is secured not by the fulfilling of one's desires, but by the removal of desire itself.
Freedom. Is that some sort of war thing, or is that...
Here's what I think it means. I think it means the burdens of your life are lifted if you no longer desire certain things in your life. If you can live your life as it is, as it comes every day, then you are free. Because you are not chasing something. You are not living for something. You are living.
I guess that's kind of the mindset behind those people who just live in a van. Like, they don't...
Yeah, you never see them complain.
Wanting possession requires a whole, like, arbitrary step of getting money, getting a job, doing all this finance kind of shit. Whereas you could just not do that and live freely, I guess.
There are a lot of people who are electively homeless because they just don't want to be in the rat race.
I did think about what that really meant. I started interpreting it as some sort of, like, war fucking thing. But
yeah, well, I mean, it could be. So that's the thing with philosophy quotes, It could be either.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll leave that one as it is, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I don't like them going over an hour because I feel like listening to us for an hour...
I guess so.
Especially one with heavy fucking topics like this.
Dude, it'll be like 40 minutes after I cut all that shit out, dude. Remember?
Yeah, man, yeah. All right, here is our last one. This is from John Locke. Have you heard of John Locke? I'd heard of him before.
Is that...
Not from Lost.
Is that Master Chief?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
The mind is furnished with ideas by experience alone. This one's going to need a couple of neurons in the brain.
No, I get that. I come up with ideas just... Like, I can't sit down and necessarily come up with ideas. I have to go on a journey when I'm trying to come up with something. Like, a lot of stuff in JTAP, I'll just be like... Well, it's hard to come up with UI, Like, have you ever tried to, like, just come up with, like, an interface for something and buttons and all that?
Yeah, I designed an app.
Well, yeah, but, like, have you thought about... You might think it's good, but then you hand it to someone else, like, what the fuck is this? I can't press this. You have to, like... You have to journey out and find things. All I had to do was
design it. Someone else made it.
Okay.
So I never had to think of that. But, like, I know what you mean, for sure.
I'll go to, like, websites and all that, and I'll see, like, oh, this is how they do this and this. Like, I can't... Like, I think that's saying, widen your whatevers. There's that one quote.
Broaden your horizons?
Yeah, broaden your horizons. That's what I'm thinking that I'm interpreting that as.
I did not think that even a little bit.
What were you thinking it was?
I was thinking that the mind is furnished with ideas by experience alone. It means that when you are born, right?
Yeah.
You're a blank canvas, and you are taking in information, right? Yeah. Your experiences from all these years of you experimenting with code, for example. Like your first. What did you first start with?
Lua.
Lua.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I remember you trying to teach me Lua once because I could make fucking computer programs in Minecraft.
Yeah.
God, that must have been so hard for you. Sorry.
I actually find that really fun. I really do like teaching programming stuff.
I like teaching in general, actually, a lot as well. But like, so your first dabbling with that, right?
It was actually in Gary's mod, and then I could do the computer craft stuff. I was just fucking around in Gary's mod, just doing like add-on shit.
And all that, your experience gathered through that, and through everything else, led to you being in Valve source code. You know what I mean? Like it led to you coming up with all these ideas,
having 2 or 3 lines in a Valve repository.
But all of your experience that you got yourself was from you living your life, and you came up with the idea to write that code, and now it's published. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Like, it might not be the most extreme example of it,
but
but it's like everything that happens in your life contributes towards an idea that could change the world, potentially.
I feel like we have the same interpretation. Like, if you
I
just
was a little bit more... mine was zoomed out
grand
a little
scale
bit
of
more
things,
than yours,
yeah, you have to, like, experience things, because it's, you know, your thoughts and ideas are a culmination of your experience. I mean, your experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're both kind of saying the same thing, which is cool.
And I kind of have the same, like, outlook with our podcast here, because it's like, you know, right now we have a total of about 4 viewers, or listeners, I should say. But, you know...
We have a lot of uniques, though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Listeners are just people who regularly come back, whereas we can have people who just watch just individual episodes because of the tag, so...
Exactly. And I think that if we keep doing it, that, like, I think we have something here. And if you stick to it, and our experiences from podcasting and networking and all that could lead to us becoming something that lots of people listen to, and it, like, you know, lightens their day. And potentially, you know, like, if someone listens to it, they get happiness out of it. It's a reason for them to stay on this planet, even if they're thinking of committing suicide or something.
That'd be pretty neat.
And I am very happy with that idea. Or let's just hope that we're not so shit that it makes people kill themselves. But the possibility's there, isn't it, boys? Huh?
We do often speak about the darknesses that light casts on people.
Yeah, and that's good. I've never heard that
completely
before.
Improv.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You ruined it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I can come up with, like, some edgy ass quote on the spot, but I stuttered my fucking words.
That worked until you fucked it up.
Yeah, I fucked it up.
Yeah,
Jordy.
You fucked it up.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. This has been Chopsticks and Cream. Thank you for listening to our podcast. We'll see you next week for episode 30.
Bye.